Match 77, Jet Jaguar vs. Biollante by Christian Salibert. Jet Jaguar craned his neck to look up at the towering beast. The human-sized robot was on a tall cliff, and even still he had trouble seeing the top of the creature before him. She was currently unaware of him, a fact which Jet Jaguar was reluctant to change. Biollante was resting peacefully, her tendrils lazily slithering around the area. Jet Jaguar didn't want to disturb her, as she had no intent of harming anyone, but there were several settlements nearby which were in danger from the massive plant. He had to try to get her to leave the area without endangering the nearby humans. Making his decision, he took
Come on, move.
he took to the
Wait,
air.
wait, didn't he just say that she didn't want to harm anyone anyways?
Yeah, so I was like, it looked.
There's no point in trying to move her then.
I can only imagine a human-sized Jet Jaguar going down next to Biollante, trying to push her, like like how bikini bottomites and SpongeBob pushed Bikini Bottom. Push. Making his decision, he took to the air and flew off the cliff, landing a good distance away and in front of Biollante. Letting loose a robotic cry, Jet Jaguar had begun to wave his arms around in a specific pattern. I don't know which pattern, it doesn't specify. Seconds later, a bright light burst from his chest. A blinding light and a strange whirring sound roused Biollante from her slumber. Her eyes opened just in time to see Jaguar reach full size, which was still nowhere near Biollante's impressive height. He began moving his hands around and calling out to her with strange metallic sounds, apparently attempting to communicate something to her. Biollante just snarled in response. The strange being interrupted her rest and now appeared to be giving her instructions. Aside from that, the being's garnished colors annoyed her. She didn't want to fight just now. Or she didn't want to fight just now, but this colorful creature insisted on annoying her. She would be glad to change her mind.
So Jet Jaguar messed up her beauty sleep and she doesn't like his fashion.
Yes. That's discrimination, Biollante. Though
I
probably
found here's Jet Jaguar in a nutshell for this match. Hey, hey, Biollante.
yeah, totally. Jet Jaguar finished explaining to Biollante about the nearby humans. He wondered if she understood his message. He got his answer when she sent several tendrils screaming at his chest. Jet Jaguar leapt into the air, barely avoiding the toothy vines. The android was taken by surprise by the sudden attack. He had expected the floral titan to be so ill-tempered. Oh, my goodness. Angering her was not his intention, but he couldn't just fly away. The humans were still in danger from a sleeping Biollante. He really shouldn't have done anything, Jet. I know you guys pointed it out earlier, but still. He flew around Biollante, landing behind her and lashing out with a powerful kick. Biollante snarled as Jet Jaguar's metallic legs struck her backside.
Ass.
Yeah! Narrowing her eyes, she rose several tendrils from the ground, sending them towards the automaton. Automaton, yeah. Two of them opened their mouths and bit down on the robot's shoulders, yanking him away from her. Reaching up and snatching their heads with his hands, Jet Jaguar managed to wrench them off his shoulders, but by now Biollante had managed to turn herself around. With a thunderous charge, Biollante rushed forward and slammed her mountainous body into the robot, sending him hurtling through the air head over heels. Jet Jaguar hit the ground with a crash, dizzied from his trip through the air. He's a robot. How is he dizzy?
Sentient robot.
True. Biollante sent more and more vines at her foe, intent on impaling him. Jet Jaguar managed to swat a few of them away with his hands, but there were too many coming at him. One managed to spear through his waist, its tip sticking out through it. Crying out, he managed to grab it and rip it in half, then out of his waist. He looked up just in time to see Biollante swing her head, slamming her giant crocodilian snout into his chest and once again sending him through the air. Jet Jaguar rolled across the ground, then woozily got back to his feet. He clutched he clutched a boulder from the dirt and hurled it at Biollante's open mouth. The mutant plant howled in frustration as she shook her head back and forth, trying to dislodge the rock, but to no avail. Furious, she sent even more tendrils at Jet Jaguar. The robot managed to dispatch the first few, but there were too many attacking too fast. One snaked around his leg and pulled him. One snaked around his leg and pulled him to the ground. Pass.
Oh no!
Jet Jaguar looked up and saw a green liquid dripping from Biolante's mouth. She was using her acid to try to dissolve the boulder. Not good. The humanoid machine lashed out with his leg, kicking an approaching tendril away. Reaching down, he ripped the vine around his leg in half, freeing himself and jumping away. More of the thorny limbs quickly advanced on him, but he lifted his arms and shot off into the air. Just as he landed some distance away, Biollante crunched down on the weakened rock, reducing it to rubble, freeing her mouth. Shrieking wildly, the floral Godzilla clone charged forward, waving her tentacles in the air. Two of them lashed out and wrapped around Jet Jaguar's arms, holding him in place. He he struggled to pull them free, but couldn't in time before Biollante reached him. Opening her cavernous jaws, she bit down on Jet Jaguar's shoulder, her teeth piercing his armor. Lifting her full height into the air, Biollante shook her head before unclenching her jaw and letting him soar through the air, once again crashing to the ground. Jet Jaguar couldn't take much more of this. Biollante was too rough and large and powerful for him. He was too badly damaged. He didn't want to fight her, but he knew he had to do something to finish this fight and quickly, even though he started the fight. Suddenly, an idea occurred to him. It might be enough to tip the scales in his favor. As Biollante made her way towards the machine, he repeated the same choreographed arm motions he made earlier. I guess he planned them out. Biollante recoiled as another blinding flash of light enveloped him. Seconds later, she once again found herself facing Jet Jaguar, except the android was much larger than before. He now stood at a colossal plant. I guess he was tired of being bottom, so he grew up a bit.
He went after her ass.
Biollante reared her head back in surprise, stunned by her opponent's sudden new height. Jet Jaguar marched up to her and swung his arm at her, body chopping her in the side of the head. Biollante wailed out abuse as the blow reverted through her head, stunning her. Before she could recover, Jet Jaguar clapped his hands on either side of her head. The monstrous plant cried out as she felt her skull crack. Jet Jaguar flipped through the air, uppercutting her bottom jaw with his foot. Uppercut with a foot? I thought upcutting only.
I feel like there's a specific terminology for the attack being used here. If you're doing the equivalent of uppercutting someone with your foot, I think, like, I don't know, what would you call that? Upper kicking?
Needs to be better worded.
Yes. Well, if there is a better word for it, which I feel like there is.
We will find one later. The blow knocked out several of her teeth and sent her reeling back. A trio of tendrils attacked, but Jet Jaguar clasped all of them in one hand and yanked hard, tearing them out of the soil. Spinning around, the droid whipped them across Biolante's face, smacking her with her own arm, hand, tentacle thingies. Before she could react, Jet Jaguar was upon her, wrapping his arms around her neck and began to hug. Pass.
The cry that escaped Biolante's throat gurgled as Jet Jaguar applied more pressure to her neck. Her tendril stabbed at the machine from behind, but only succeeded in splitting the tips open, now weak to pierce metallic skin. Biollante struggled to free herself, but grip was too strong. Unable to think of anything else, lightning cracked out Biollante's throat, and a moment later a torrent of acidic sap flooded from their mouth. It covered arm, instantly causing him to release her jaw. The robot was alarmed as his arm smoked and began to corrode. But Biollante wasn't done yet. She focused her sap into a highly intensity stream, blasting Jaguar in the face and coating him in corrosive green liquid. Cried out in panic, feeling the acid eat away at his armor, but Biollante wasn't done yet. She summoned more and more tendrils from the ground. Several wrapped around each of his legs and strained, pulling him down to his knees. This is the sexiest hentai I ever read.
I've read enough hentai to know where this is going.
Who'd win in the tentacle match, Biollante or Iris?
That's a question for the ages, but anyway.
Him away, even more attacked, and lashed around his arms, holding them outstretched. Or this could be that one scene from Evil Dead.
Oh yeah.
The hero of the machine struggled to pull away, but their grip was too strong, and he was afraid if he struggled too hard they would tear through his acid-weakened armor. It was then he realized that Biollante was now directly in front of him. The Jaguar, was jumping defiance at the Titanic. He returned with an icy cold glare with a speed that bellied her size. Biollante thrust her lower body forward and opened her bottom jaws. If you catch my you're clamping them on. And with all her strength, Biollante wrenched her jaws away, turned and clean off his neck. Monster Plant withdrew her tendrils, allowing the decapitated robot's body to crash to the ground, sparks firing from his open neck. Satisfied with her victory, Biollante decided to vacate the area and find a more restful spot. Hopefully no one would bother her this time. Winner? I'll tell you who definitely did win. It wasn't.
Well, to be fair, I mean, Jaguar decided to wake her up and it cost him his life, so.
Don't wake up a girl in her beauty sleep.
Oh, absolutely. They will.
Definitely don't.
So definitely don't Jaguar. Gotcha.
Yes.
So
Don't
overall,
be a Jaguar. You'll get eaten alive and wrapped up in tentacles.
right. Honestly, like I feel like don't get me wrong, I understand that things like for the case of this match, things happen for the sake of like, oh, there needs to be a fight, something needs to happen, even if it technically doesn't make sense. But I do feel like Jaguar probably could have alerted the villagers and got them out of there, as opposed to trying to convince Biollante to move. I don't know. I just felt like it would have been a safe.
Attack the villagers. He doesn't have a voice.
Right. Well, I mean, he could still communicate. He could still get the general idea across.
Pointing towards a giant mountain full of plants.
I mean, I mean, really, Jaguar could just literally
just point towards a giant plant. What if Paper's gonna think that's a giant mountain? Why do we have to move? Because there's a new mountain.
Either way, Jaguar was going to be drunk.
Oh, well,
no one was going to understand him, and he was going to look like a drunk asshole for waking someone up.
Okay, that's true. But yeah, I don't know. In some ways, it's like the premise isn't necessarily anything new, but I do kind of like the fact that it's not them. Like, I mean, Biollante retaliated because, well, she just didn't like Jaguar, for disturbing her. It's like, it's just a simple case of being disturbed and they have a fight. Which, despite the fact that it ends with Jaguar pretty much dying, it is nice to have that kind of match once in a while. So.
Wait, I just noticed Biollante has Godzilla spines in the banner. Does she actually have those?
Yeah, I believe she has Godzilla spines. I think it could just be the model that I think this was Stephanie Hughes that did this. It could be the just the model that was used here that makes it look like that. But I do recall that Biollante's like the things on her back are very reminiscent to Godzilla's spines, though not wholly. It's kind of weird.
Jaguar tried to be Ultra Banner if you look at him. Trying to shoot a specimen beam, but he's not.
Right, should have tried, but failed.
He's not ultra enough.
Yeah, he's not ultra the man enough.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, just once again, it's much more on the simple side. But I do feel like it's all right. I mean, it's hard for me to really give heavy heavy compliments. I know this was just probably written for just for funsies, and in that case, it's perfectly fine. So I feel like it's an okay match overall. Nagoda, do you have anything to add on, or what your thoughts are, or whatever?
No, I think that this whole match is just Jaguar constantly messing up because he doesn't know how to treat a girl right.
For guys listening, this is how you don't treat a girl. I'm just pointing that out right now. Alex, did you have any thoughts to expand upon or whatever? Oh, great, he's drunk again.
Yeah, that was my thought.
Oh, all right. I will say, I feel iffy about the models of the monsters used, or at least Biollante specifically. But I do like the way the banner looks. So there is I don't know, there's a very serene sort of look to it, despite the activity going on with the monsters. There is a genuine sort of serene look to it that I like.
Gotcha.
And I guess that's it for match 77. Just an average.
We'll see you next time, fellas.
Yeah. This has been match 77, and we'll see you guys next time for match 78. Until then.